Here's a poncho I made a few years ago. It's both knit and crochet. There are 4 panels that are knit, and I just took my book of stitches and picked out a couple I like that don't have holes because I wanted it to be an actual kind of warm thing rather than just decorative. So I love cables, so I put together a couple of different cables, wide one with a narrow one in between. And then this over here, which is really simple, just knit and purl. And another cable here. It's kind of a variation of, I think some people call it hugs and kisses. I call it fish. This is a sort of a cable, but it's just 2 together and then crossing over kind of thing, I think. I'm trying to remember that. And when I had 4 panels, then I went around them with crochet, and I put some interesting little crochet bits in there. And that was when I decided I would try some different things, because I'd been going around blankets really plain. So I got the video from the crochet crowd and learned how to do a bobble stitch. And then these others are just some little variations. They're just 2 in 1, which would be called an increase usually, except since you're skipping, you're not really increasing, if you get my point. And I guess when I got to the end here, I did a kind of a modified shell, a 3-stitch shell instead of a 5-stitch shell, just to have it be small enough not to be making the thing bunch out. So a few different ways of doing it. This is it's simple, but when you're using all that many colors, you don't really need to do too much else. And then this is, the joins are through a loop. You can go through 2 loops. You can go through 2 loops on each side, or 1 loop on each side, and you'll get just a little different look on whether you're going to have more of a ridge or less of a ridge by doing that. And I needed to go around the neck then also, and that is just kind of a fake it when you get to this point kind of thing on my part, to get a decrease in here to pull the sides together. But one of the reasons I wanted to show this was because it's kind of a neat idea, but I made I didn't do enough calculating ahead of time. I just figured out to make a length. Sorry about the noise. I've got my door open and it's windy here, slamming the other door against the door frame. Yeah, okay. What I did was I just made a long strip, like a wide short scarf, and then just brought it around, and it stopped on the other one. And the same thing, this one is the one you saw stopping on that side. So there are actually 4 pieces of equal length. 2 of them go next to each other and then they wrap around. But what happened is somehow I didn't think it through well enough, and the openings aren't the same on the 2 sides. So the points don't line up. So I'm going to take this off the display stand now and lay it down on the floor so you can see that better. So here I'm going to pause for just a minute. So here we go. You can get another flat look at it now. And so here you can see, well, when I made the edge of the neck, I pulled it in intentionally a bit to make a shoulder, because it's really just a straight piece until that was done. But I think you can see that the distances here are not the same. And I don't really have a calculation for that to explain that. I'm sure You know, if you sit there and think about it for a while, maybe you'll come up with it for yourself. So if you want to do one this way, you know, it works out really nice. It's really easy. You can do a lot with it, but hopefully you'll come up with a way to not have it make that funny shoulder there. I'm going to pause again for a second because I'm going to fold it to show that. So here I think this makes it even clearer that it's off. It's not off by a huge amount, it's only off by about an inch. But you know, it's if you wear it and you stand there and pose, it shows. If somebody's looking at you from both the back and the front at the same time, you center it in the front. It's not centered in the back. But I have long hair, so I can kind of get away with it. It covers the back of it. Or, you know, you just keep moving and nobody will notice. So anyway, but it's colorful and it's kind of springish, and it's springy today over here. So that's why I thought I'd bring it out and show it, because the first crocus is blooming. So it's time to do that. Okay, so if you decide to do this, have fun. I don't have any more details than this on Ravelry. So I guess, you know, you're on your own. The colors are Red Heart Super Saver. It's Red Heart Super Saver. And I'm sorry, I don't have any information on the size of needles I used. I usually use either a US 8 or 9, so it's probably one of those. Probably 8, I would guess. And then hook size for the crochet edge is just whatever's going to work. So just a second here. I'm going to pause again. If you do happen to want to find me and look at some of the other stuff I've done, this is where you find me, on Ravelry. I am not a designer, so this is just a personal Ravelry page that you can find me on, and you can look at some stuff. I think this is just listed as poncho. Anybody want to give it a name, feel free to suggest one. Okay, have fun.